What's going on, everybody? I'm Healthy Tyler.
And I'm Sick Luke.
And I'm back.
Hey, EJ. Welcome, Throwaway93257, who is also known as EJ. He's back.
How's it going, guys?
Real excited to have you back. Really awkward, exchanging pleasantries after you've been hanging out with us for like 45 minutes and like.
But hey, been so long.
Listeners don't need to know that. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So EJ's back, and he is going to help us with today's episode, which is going to be I almost said Sunshine, School Idol Project Season 1 OP, ED, and side songs. And these are pretty great. I'm really happy to not only talk about these, but have you here, because you always provide some insight, and you talk about drums when Luke and I don't. So,
oh yeah, there's some drums happening today. Don't worry about it.
There are some drums in this
I got it covered.
So last time, we asked if who would you like to have the next full unit single Aqua song, because we got Chikarico, we got Yo, and then we got Kanan. So we got a lot of comments for Mari, like a lot. We got one from Jean Bisson. All right, first of all, these are like all relatively the same comment. However, they pretty much all talk about how Mari can just do any genre she ever wants to. So that's Jean Bisson, Adrian, and Psycho Everyday. The last one, the most important one, it needs to have gratuitous amounts of English, a guitar similar to Roundabout, and techno backing similar to Sandstorm. The memening is upon us. That is the most insightful one, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, can we just get the cover of every meme song imaginable by Mari?
By Mari? Yeah.
Yeah.
Make a whole solo album out of those?
Yeah.
We were talking during the live stream, like we could, like, what was it we wanted Kusin to sing?
I don't remember anymore.
But it's like for the right amount of money, you can get people to do a lot of stuff. Like someone just has to donate, like Mari or Aina, just a bunch of money, and then see, sold, done.
Then we got another question here. Also, heads up, sorry if I sound like a disgusting sick animal, but my soothing sick voice will tend to you guys. We got another one here from Rice03, RYC03. Rico in a lone piano backing song, singing while lying on the grand piano, nightclub style. Oh wait, that's just my fantasy. I feel that.
That's a good one.
That would be pretty litty. All the other 8 members just surrounding the piano, staring longingly at her.
Just imagine they're like in the audience, like, can we perform now? Like they're just kind of like waiting there. Whenever I think of this scene, I think of that what is it from Shrek the Third, the fairy godmother? Please don't
that's the second Shrek.
That's the second Shrek? Alright, sorry.
Come on, get it together.
This isn't holy heck, I really like Shrek.
I know what you're talking about.
I forgot I even said that. I might even edit that out, but I didn't, so out. Hey guys. So, for the people who weren't here last time, EJ, why don't you explain what you do? Again, please.
Sure. So, I post a lot of stuff about the music of Love Live on Reddit. So, probably the most popular one that I do is called the Music Primer series, where I just write about individual singers, individual groups, and sometimes songs too. That's what I've been doing recently. And I just talk about them a little bit more in depth than maybe people have given them credit for. Talk about some of the details people might miss. Then I've done some other things like some guides, general music guides, what you should look for if you're a new fan of the franchise, that sort of stuff. And yeah, I'm planning on doing some more of that in the coming years.
I'm a big fan of in that last one you said the music genres one. You just have miscellaneous and then Mijuku Dreamer in bold. Yeah, this is the best song that doesn't fit in any genre. Just go ahead, just try it out.
Yeah, there are some that don't fit quite into one genre, and that happens to be one of the better ones.
Big fan of that one.
This stuff's really good. Go check it out. We'll put a link down below to where you can find
always.
All the stuff. It's super good. So for the next couple weeks, we're going to be going over the first season of SIP, and we're going to start off today with the OP and ED and their 2 side songs.
Yeah, this is a pretty big block. Like there's a lot of Muse coming up, but there's also a lot more Muse than Aqua's just in general. So you gotta get it all out of the way sometime. So yeah, this is
for the next 3 weeks, we'll be doing a little bit of that. We'll get that out of the way.
And what better way to start off than the song that started everything off with the anime? This is Bokura wa Ima no Naka de. So play that.
「 さも未来集まったら強い自分になってくよ変わり続けてそれぞれが好きなことで頑張れるなら新しいゴールだねそれぞれの好きなことを信じていればときめきも進めるだろう怖がる癖は捨てちゃえとびきりの笑顔で飛んで飛んで高く僕らは今の中で
So this is a holy heck, I really like Love Live callback. First song, first episode, where we talked about how there's really no better way to introduce the franchise than Bora Ora. Wow, is there no better way to introduce the anime than this song?
Yeah, quite literally. I think this is in my opinion, I think this is the second most iconic Love Live song ever, behind Snow Halation. Third place is so hard to find.
Yeah,
I think this is number 2?
I'd put it up there too, honestly. Like it's one of those ones that doesn't get talked about as much, but I think a lot of people got into the show because of this song.
Yeah, got into the whole franchise because of the show, and this is the first thing. This is the first Love Live song that they experienced, you know?
That's right, yeah, this is a lot of people's first Love Live song ever. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I guess this is... I wasn't sure if Susume Tomorrow plays a little bit before this, but I think it does, but then you get into this, and it's your first full song.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's not even the first song that I listened to, but it's probably the one that got me into the music of the show. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like, I remember watching through the anime the first time, like, it's not like I was skipping the intro, but I wasn't, like, paying a whole lot of attention to it. But over time, like, I was like, this is pretty catchy. I'll keep paying attention. And then I never skipped it again.
Yeah, I watched
it's real good first. In that sense, yeah.
Yeah, and this song is what kind of clued me in. Hey, wait a second, this is a song where they sing and dance. This is something I could get into. Oops.
Yeah.
For me, it was actually the opposite. Like, I wasn't into this kind of stuff. I don't even really watch all that much anime, if I'm making a confession here. But, like, this one, it grew on me real quick.
Non-weebs get out.
It just came over you. You're like, oh, what have I become? It's like suddenly I can't go outside in the light anymore.
Don't kick me out now. We're barely into this episode.
This is the first cover I played of a Love Live song. So I used to send like a lot of like music Snapchats to my friends, like playing piano. I sent one to Luke one day, and he replied with, "Oh, play a Love Live song." I'm like, okay. So I took myself over to YouTube and I typed in Love Live song, and this is the first one to ever pop up. And I was like, okay, and I just like sent the instrumental like na 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 na, and he was like, all right, he's in. But I wasn't in. I wasn't in for a while.
Where the hook gets set. Onto the song. I know when we were listening to it, EJ was talking about that this is one of the songs that he just listens to the instrumental a lot on.
Yep, this is probably my go-to example of a song where if you haven't listened to the off vocal, I definitely recommend it. And the reason for that is because, well, there's a couple of reasons. For one, I think it's one of those off vocals that tells its own sort of cohesive story, whereas like a lot of other songs, in the verses especially, you have just more of a subdued instrumental, which is there kind of just to like support the vocals, sometimes accent them.
To like play on the girl's strengths, yeah.
Yeah, like this one, like you have each of the instruments kind of playing its own sort of lead melody, and there's a lot of alternation which keeps things interesting, so it feels really complete as a song just by like the off vocal itself.
I can tell that especially with the strings in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. And
the off vocal's really strong in the song, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The way the TV version is mixed also is part of the reason why I generally prefer the off vocal, because there are some details that I can think of. Like, I'm going to name two. So for one, in the choruses, the violins are mixed like kind of low, like you can't really hear them all that well, but in the off vocal, they're amazing. Like, I love those violins. And then in the end, this is kind of what I mean by like the off vocal making its own sort of cohesive song. You hear this like fade out into like a little bit of a tom crescendo into like the last note to like send the song off, but the start of that like tom crescendo is sort of blocked off by the vocals and the way that it's mixed, so it doesn't feel like it's super smooth, but in the off vocal it's like a completely smooth transition, so it just makes a lot more sense to me. Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain if you're not listening to it by itself.
For me, the guitar really stands out in the song. It's super strong throughout the whole thing. Even the solo that it gets at the end is really nice. It's definitely the most powerful instrument that stands out in the entire song.
The guitar, huh?
I can see that.
I actually think that if you like the guitar in this song, you might want to give a listen to the special mix that was featured on the Best Live Collection 2 album.
Yeah, it's got some weird mixes on that one.
Yeah. So there's this album that they released like alongside the anime. It's got a collection of a bunch of the songs that they performed from that time period, and they have like 8 special mixes, and one of them is of this song, and it's basically just like a heavier rock version of the instrumental that you're hearing like in the TV version.
You're introducing me to this. I've never heard of that.
It's called the Little More Rock Mix. If you want to play a clip of that, I know you have the power.
振り返る暇なんてないねそんな気分さ広がるよ君とどこまでも振り返る暇なんてないと感じているよ刺激への期待盛り上がってく弱気な僕に
I'm sure it was really good as I come back from the pause we did during the recording. Can we talk about the outfits for a second?
Absolutely.
Sorry, just real quick. I really like the outfits of this song. I feel like this is just. Can we talk? If you want to talk about iconic, like the outfits.
Yeah, I was
like,
about to say this has to be one of the more iconic outfits ever.
I think it looks especially good on Maki, and I know for a fact that a lot of people agree with me. It just complements her hair color and just wow. I like to think that this is one of Maki's most iconic outfits, but hey.
I would agree with you. Like, I don't normally pay attention to outfits all that much, but I saw some haters talking trash about this set of outfits, and I felt personally offended.
I think this is the most iconic one after Snow Halation again, for me at least.
I almost feel like this is more iconic than Snow Halation, because as much as I like the outfits of Snow Halation, I don't know if I can really say the outfits themselves are the most iconic part of Snow Halation. I mean, obviously they're not the most iconic part, but I don't think they stand out nearly as much as the song, is what I'm trying to say.
Right, and I don't think the outfits stand out nearly as much as this song, in iconicness. But man, have you seen Nozomi in that Snow Halation outfit?
I do. Doesn't she have a hat?
She got a little top hat.
Well, Maki has a top hat here. That's the key to success.
Yeah,
if you have a little,
top
top hat, you will find a successful outfit. But anyway, no. Can we go back to the strings though? Like I mentioned the strings before, and I know EJ mentioned the strings, but starting from the very beginning of this intro, I'm not exactly sure what instrument starts off. My go-to instrument when I don't know what it is I just say it's a synth. It's a synth. It just leads right into the strings, and then the strings have like their own little solo part before the vocals kick in. That gets me every single time. Just that little mini string solo right there. I'm a huge fan. We also talked about how I wanted to mention it as we were listening to our pre-recording listen of the song like we always do, about how during the bridge I was like, wow, it's been a really long time since I listened to this part, but I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to sound like a pleb. And then EJ chimed in with like, wow, it's been a long time since I listened to this part. I'm like, all right, I'm glad I didn't have to say it.
Yeah, you know what I've been listening to, and it has no vocals in it.
Yeah. I do want to say something though, like not to knock this song or anything, because I think this is like 100% on my part, like a con. Like this is so not anything bad about this song, but it still needs to be said because there's probably someone like me out there. I think it's really weird to listen to openings when you're not watching the anime. I don't mean weird. I mean it's just like a weird feeling I get. Like when I listen to the song, like it makes me want to watch the anime. It's just I can't listen to the song without thinking of the anime, and it's just like if I were to listen to a show song, I don't think that at all. Like I listen to Mijuku Dreamer all the time, and it's like its own entity. But like if Azora Jumping Heart comes on, or if this song comes on, I listen to it and it's like, huh, like this feels strange. Like it's not at all a bad song. It's just like, huh, this is weird, and I'm not entirely sure if I like this or not.
Yeah, I think when you're listening to other animes openings, you might be able to listen to them all the time because when you think of the opening, when you hear the opening, it brings back kind of fond memories. But with Love Live, there's so many songs you can listen to instead to bring back fond memories. So you want to bring back the ones that bring you the fondest memories. Like Mijuku Dreamer, a really good episode.
But yeah, when you listen to this one, it's just kind of like, oh, it's an opening, Like this is weird, but okay.
If you want to avoid that weird feeling, you can listen to the off vocal, and you won't have
listen to the off. Get a story told by strings and probably synths.
Go to Love Live Wiki right now and download the off vocal.
It's a good listen.
So next up, we got something like really interesting. Like Wild Stars is a gem just for the sake that it's just so weird. It is just unlike anything. And when we say unlike anything, you know, we usually talk about like unique backing or something. Like that is not the case for Wild Stars. Like it is just very strange, and it's pretty cool.
School Idols and the Funky Bunch.
School Idols and the Funky Bunch. So let's listen to Wild Stars.
'Like we were saying before, we talk about backing a lot. We talk about instrumentals a lot being weird and unique. Man, this song has some unique vocals. I can't think of a song that has a more unique vocals than this one.
Why does the song have unique vocals, Luke?
Well, I didn't know if somebody else wanted to go first.
Well, part of the reason that the song has such unique vocals is because a lot of the characters, they use deeper voices than we're used to hearing.
That's because their seiyus aren't, you know, they're not usually using their natural voices to sing for Love Live, right?
Right. So you can actually hear quite a stark difference for some of the characters here, especially Nozomi, Nico, and Kotori. I mean, Hanayo, she uses her deeper voice, but she's used that a couple times in the past, I know, much to your chagrin.
Sorry
to bring up old moods.
It's okay. Some wounds never heal. But anyway, we were looking at. We always try to find color-coded versions of the things you're listening to, and for a split second, I saw Nico appear on the screen as his deep-ass voice is going on. I was like, we got to find another one. This is wrong. And then I heard
Soromaru, baby.
Yeah, and then I heard Soromaru in there. I was like, wait a minute. I forgot for a minute that's how this song went.
Yeah.
So this song in particular, the seiyus like to use their own singing voice, which is pretty neat.
It's so cool. You don't get to hear that a lot. Some of them have singing voices incredibly close to their character voice. Rippy is really close to Rin just naturally. Ellie and Nanjo are really close. Kusen and Nozomi are really close. And Mimori sometimes is really close to Umi, but in this song,
I think she's pretty close.
Well, I think Mimo likes to sing a little bit lower often, but Umi gets stuck in soprano sometimes.
Okay.
But this song's just so interesting in that regard because you don't ever see them. Whenever I think of them when they're live and they break out of their character voice, I think the Atlantis execs in the back are getting the whip ready. They're like, no, that's not allowed.
Don't remind me, please. So it gets even deeper, much to my knowledge. So you guys want to explain solo mixes, because this is again something, because I've listened to solo mixes of almost everything that has solo mixes, but I never quite put the pieces together for this one. So why don't you guys take that over for a minute?
Sure. So if you listen to the solo mixes of this song, you'll hear two different voices, but that's not a mistake. There's actually two voices that each character is using. So for part of the song, one part of the verse, they'll use their standard character voice, and then for the other part, they'll use their more natural voice. And then during pre-choruses and some other transitions, you'll actually hear both of them simultaneously, like one in the left channel and one in the right. So if you're talking about one of those characters that has like a deeper voice that we never really get to hear, then that could be a trip.
Yeah, it's super interesting whenever you get to hear them, and them together is super neat. And you can really kind of figure out which seiyus you like to listen to more. Like this is the one if you're interested in getting into the seiyu's work, but you're still kind of stuck in Love Live. You can listen to this one and see if you like their solo stuff, their own individual stuff.
Yeah,
I like your terminology there. Like, if you're still listening to Love Live in the current year,
still stuck. It's a tar pit that's pulling us all down with it.
I actually recommend, like, out of all of them, probably listening to Katori's solo mix. Mm-hmm. One, because I mean, her seiyu she does music outside of Love Live and she does it very well. But the deeper voice that we hear, like, you might think, I mean, we've heard this before. We've heard Spica Terrible, right? But that's not really the same thing. Like, that's really Katori's natural or character voice rather, but just with a little bit more edge. Whereas here, it's like a completely different character. So you guys should check that one out if you haven't already.
Yeah, it's super neat. Even like Rin's a little less clear. She kind of sings with a little bit less of that accent. Nozomi's a little less silly, but it can really throw you off when you're listening to it the first time. But it's really incredibly interesting. I'm hoping someday we get something like it for Aquas. Probably won't, but I'm hoping.
Speaking of, it's just so funny to it's like we said that so many times. Like, I think we say every episode, like, you guys know we're all about unique things. But it's true. You guys know we're all about unique things, but we go on to say that, like, wow, this song has accordion or something. But, like, not this song. You want to talk about the backing for this song? We can probably do it in under 15 seconds.
I actually have some things I want to say about the backing of this song.
Please actually make it more than 15 seconds.
All right, we'll see what I can do. So, first thing I want to say is that this is actually composed by the guy who's probably my favorite composer in the Love Live franchise. He does a couple of the songs we're going to be doing today. And the reason why I'm such a fan of his is because he likes to do a lot with a little. So this is one of those songs that I was referring to before, like in Bokura no Naka. Like the verse doesn't really have a whole lot going in the backing because it's supposed to just be focused on the vocals. But pretty much every section in between those has some little bit of his own personal flair in it. So in the transitions between choruses and verses, like right after the chorus, right into the next verse, and during the intros and outros as well, there's a little bit of this like filter, like a low pass filter kind of thing with the snare and the drum attached to it. And the interesting thing about that is, for one, the snares that they use there are a little bit different from the snares that they use in the rest of the song. It's more of a hip hop boom bap kind of snare thing, whereas in the verses it's more of like a electronic 808 kind of snare. And then the bass timing is actually really interesting, I think. Like, if you listen to the intros and those transitions, like, the timing is pretty wild. Like, it's still like in time with everything, but it's sort of like offbeat, doing its own thing. It feels very unique compared to a lot of the other songs in here. But those are just sort of little things that he does to add flavor to his songs, and why I'm such a fan of his.
Now, on the topic of being a fan, how about not being a fan? Didn't you want to say something about white noise?
Yeah, so I mean, with some of these earlier songs, like, I mean, there's some issues that I have with them, revisiting them 4 years after the fact. This song certainly has some, and the last song that we listened to definitely has a prominent one. So, I mean, I was advocating the off vocal so much, but if you listen to some of the wind effects that they have in there, and there's quite a few, it's really just white noise. And, like, it's pretty uncomfortable when you're just listening to the off vocal. Like, at least in the TV version, the way that it's mixed, it's like kind of tapered off a little bit. It doesn't have that edge to it, but in just the off vocal, it's pretty off-putting. But this song has some issues like that as well. Mostly just, it sounds like it's a little bit under-budgeted compared to some of the more recent songs with the bass effects and the snare
totally
effects.
Yeah.
And this is the first time they're doing a season of the show, and they're making so many more songs than they'd ever made before. And I think that just came down to an under budget thing, or they had to make quantity over quality, So some of the songs kind of lose that quality.
Yeah, and I
do think
that speaks even more to why I like this guy, because, like, even in later parts of the songs, he does some interesting compositional things, just with, like, I mean, the tools he has at his disposal, it's like you have an electric guitar, you have a drum set, and like not much else. But he uses them in interesting ways, like in that final bridge, they have like these sort of spacey effects, and then they cut into this final chorus with just like this rising like electric guitar, and it just like, it sort of catches your attention out of nowhere, unlike any other song I've really heard. So it's a unique way of using the same tools that other songs have to make an impression.
Yeah, just kind of improvising. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Not necessarily improvising, but you said it. I can't really say it any better than you did. Just getting the most out of what you have when what you have is just a little, you know?
Using them in different ways to create, you know, sort of unique effects, even if the sounds themselves aren't as high quality as they could be.
I do think in general the songs have, I want to say, increased in quality since the very beginning of the start of SIP. Just very steadily uphill. Like, I don't think any of this, like, I don't think it really spiked at all, but I do think like the overall quality of the songs has definitely gone up since the start. Maybe they realized they could make a lot of money off the anime.
Yeah,
Right,
it's probably when they realized they were making billions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. This isn't just for funding Gundam anymore.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who prefer the earlier songs from a subjective standpoint, and I mean, I can totally get that. I'm just saying that like objectively, some of the like tools they had at their disposal, they would not be using right now because they just have the budget for way better stuff.
Mm-hmm. The budget.
They got more money.
Yeah.
So now we finished up with the 2 songs on the intro CD. Let's get to the outro. Let's get to the good stuff. I mean, it's all the good stuff, but let's get to the equally good stuff here.
Here is Kitto Seishun ga Kikoeru.
素直に追いかけて勇気で追いかけて小さな願いが明日を作るできるかなみんなが望むなら誰より頑張っちゃえとにかく情熱のままに目指すのは綺麗な風吹く道羽のように腕上げて眩しい未来へと飛ぶよきっと青春が聞こえるその瞬間に聞こえる笑顔ならいつの日も大丈夫きっと青春が聞こえるその瞬間が見たいね隣に君がいて隣は君なんだ
I just wanted to point out that there is actually a 10th girl in this song. Believe it or not. Not a whole lot of people know about it. She's a guitar. And she has her own part.
This Hanukkah.
Yeah, Honika's a guitar the whole time. No, the guitar in this part, like, in this whole song has like its own part, right? Like, obviously they're just solos and there's guitar solos all over the place, but wow, I really like it. Like, I feel like if you replace the guitar with like a girl, like if it, you know, since this is a Honika center, if you replaced it with Honika, like the song would be just like no difference in quality and it would just sound completely natural. But since the guitar is there, it's like, like I could just so easily say that this is just like, you know, it's whatever, a guitar solo in the beginning, but it feels so different. Like, I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying, but like I really like it. I don't know.
I think I do, yeah. Like the guitar feels like it's a really core part of this song's identity, even more so than like some of the other guitar heavy songs. Just like the tone of it just fits so well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Guitar Chan's really booling out in this one.
Yeah.
She's my favorite.
Let's talk about the album art and how I always get it confused with the other ED for season 2 and how they're like the same one except
The cats.
this one they don't have stairs.
This one they don't have stairs and a cat. I think Ren's got like 2 cats on her, even though she's allergic to them. It's pretty cute.
So one really interesting aspect of this song that I say relatively recently recognized is the chorus. I always liked the way that it's the speed of it, the cadence of it, the way the syllables all play into each other. And the more I listen to it, the more I feel like it's actually intentional, the way that it's done. So if you count the syllables out for each of the primary lines and even like half lines of the chorus, they add up to 9 syllables. And I mean, I feel like this is a little bit of a reach, but could be intentional. If you see the way that they're like split up next to each other, it sort of mirrors the order in which they join the group. And that's why the second half of the chorus, where they do the 9-syllable thing again, they're all at the same pace as opposed to like the syncopated S kind of thing.
For anyone who's like wondering, it's what he's talking about, the da na 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 na. That probably wasn't 9, but I got an extra one.
That sounded like 9. Maybe
it's
I don't
that,
know.
yeah.
But there's 9, I promise you. Count it out, there's 9.
I actually never heard of that. Like that's something I would have never thought had you not said it during the listen. That's pretty crazy.
I think it makes sense.
Where's the 10th for guitar chant?
Oh, maybe that's what's missing. There is actually, if you split up like the parts that are not 9, there's a part that's 10.
Ooh, that's easy. That's guitar chant, baby.
If you add another,
she got in.
I think it's very fitting for a song like this, which is all about like them as a group. I think that's why it makes a little bit of sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this started the tradition for the EDs to, depending on whose episode it was, you know, in the anime,
right.
who episode it kind of centered around, that character would get an ED or a group of characters. Like I'm pretty sure the entirety of the first years got one.
Yep.
On their episode. Ellie and Nozomi did, I'm pretty sure. I think Ellie did singularly also. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But this kind of started that tradition.
Yeah, I remember since my first one was Sunshine, like I was listening to it like it was all good, and then like the Yo one happened. I'm like, wait a minute, hold the phone. Like, what just happened? I don't actually know if Yo was first, but I think that might have been the first one where I like recognized it. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and like the 10th episode.
Yeah, like something sounds off here. Like this isn't what
Then
I'm
you had
used
to go
hearing.
back and listen to the other ones.
Yeah.
I do like so Rin maracas aside. By the way, we listened to for the maracas in this song. We couldn't find any, so I mean, if there are maracas, please let us know. We don't know if there's actually maracas in the song or if it's just Rin. Like they gave Rin instruments and told her she was helping.
If there are accordions in this song, also let us know below.
That's true for every song, by the way.
That rule stands up for everyone.
It happens in both songs. How it's like relatively like, I don't want to say slow, but it's like it's just not as lively as the chorus, I guess. And then as soon as the chorus happens, it cuts to a different scene because like the endings for anime in general are pretty like, I almost use the term lackluster, but that's not what I meant. Like they're definitely usually not always. That was the most word vomit I've ever said. Definitely always, not always. Okay, they're usually just kind of slow, and it's usually just like a one scene type thing. And it's the same thing for Love Live. And in this one, it cuts halfway through. Is this the one where they're in front of a piano, or is that the second season? This is the piano one.
Yeah, the second season is where they're
on the roof. Okay. Well, I'm just making sure we got the right order here. And they cut, and Rin's just booling out with the maracas, and everyone else. Nico is shaking her butt. And then they turn around, right?
Ooh,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they jump around, and Rin's not even singing; she's just swinging her maracas everywhere.
Same thing in Sunshine. It's just like they gave her. They gave them all pom-poms. They're like, hey, act as unnatural as possible. Like, okay. And then they just like bob back and forth like they're in a cult. Like, but now this kind of started the whole tradition of like halfway through the chorus, just, hey, here's a scene of you guys going crazy, and maybe give some maracas to Rin or something. And I like that a lot. It's charming.
Yeah, I think the ED is super charming. Most EDs in anime I tend to skip because they're a lot easier to skip than the OP. And I usually don't have the willpower to like sit there and skip the minute and a half of the OP.
Then I gotta lean up.
But the SIP OPs I think are really, really good. And even though I watched the series when it was fully out, I did stick around for the ED quite a bit.
They're just good. It's like a nice send-off. It's like really calming. It almost feels like a bath, It's like you don't want to get out. You're just like, just let me chill here for a little bit,
Yeah,
Love Live is a bath.
I think that's
New theory.
the big thing about the song. Like you were saying that it's not quite as upbeat, energetic as some other songs, and I think part of the reason for that is because a lot of like the notes that they have, they're just sort of sustained. Like they just let them ring out, right? There's not like a whole lot of intricacy going on here. They're just like playing a bunch of like beautiful successive notes, and they're just letting them all hang out there. And a lot of them are just like pretty warm tones. There's some bright ones in there as well, and just the way it all comes together with like the bent guitar notes and like the super splashy like slow open hi-hats and stuff, like it feels like a very warm sort of song. Like you can listen to it and feel like you're just like,
it's just a comfy song.
Exactly.
It's a
it
fuzzy
feels
boy.
very comfy. Like when you're listening to it, you feel like you can just get surrounded by it.
This is immersion right here.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a fuzzy boy. It's a fuzzy, comfy boy.
That's another one of the reasons why I sort of got hooked on the series, is because it felt like, even though some of the set pieces were similar to what I'd seen before, it just had this like uncanny sense of comfiness. I think another one of the reasons why the song feels so warm is because I think every line, except for maybe like one or two, ends in like this ringing vowel kind of sound. Like if you look at all of the words in the songs, like pretty much every single one of them ends in a vowel, which I mean it's pretty common. I think that's pretty common in Japanese in general, but even more so than normal. There are a ton of vowel sounds in this song, and those just sort of naturally work as sustained notes and more open notes that they do to pair alongside like the guitar and the bass in the song. So it just really adds that overall feeling of comfiness.
Yeah, if you translate the guitar notes, it's something along the lines of like, "Hey guys, like, am I in Love Live yet? Like, please don't forget about me." We never hear from Guitar Chan again, but
Rest in
she'll be
peace.
back.
She made a strong debut.
Some say she passed away.
Oh, that got dark.
The deepest lore.
So now we're gonna go back a few generations. Hey, it's us, like in the 70s. We're disco now, by the way, kinda. At least in the beginning of the song. This is Kaguya no Shiro de. Oh, hold on. Kaguya no Shiro de Odoritai. There we go. Odoritai. Kaguya no Shiro de Odoritai. All right, I did it. What was that? Attempt number 3. Here's that song. Play it.
This is a hype song. Hype. We talk about live shows quite a bit often on this, you know, best live performances, the ones we like the most. This one, if you watched our stream the other day, we watched this one, and this one almost got us taken down by Lantis, man. They're coming for us.
I was
the
watching.
Lantis police, aka
Yeah,
EJ,
the Lantis
showed up.
police, aka EJ, said take it down and send us a cop with a gun emoji. He's coming for us.
Can't have too much fun around these parts.
But this live performance, before we even get to talking about the song, I want to mention the live performance and just how sensational it is. Just like every part of it, the choreography is great, and the highlights are Soromaru trying to walk down the stairs really awkwardly. And I think it was at the fourth live.
What did someone call it? Soromaru.
Someone did say something really funny about it the other day when we were live streaming.
Soromaru versus like the high. What was it?
Look for that one.
If you guys want to know what it was, go watch our live stream video. Or check out
I'm sure we laughed about it at some point.
Yeah, it was really funny. But Soromaru awkwardly walking down the stairs. Rippy having to open her fan with her left hand. She does that a couple times because she can't snap it open like everybody else does because she's left-handed. It's just a really great live performance. And the summoning circle, when they all circle up and one goes in at a time and they sacrifice him to the old gods.
Song has a blatant ass shake at the very beginning when the disco is happening. Let's talk about disco. Can we talk about disco for a sec?
Absolutely.
Is that okay with you? Did you want to keep going about the live performance, Luke?
I was gonna say one last thing. They do kind of a weird. The beginning of the song is a little bit longer. There's like a 5 or 6 second long instrumental that's a little bit longer, and I really like it. It's just not in the full version for some reason. It's specifically in the live version. I don't know what it is. It's weird, but it's good.
Huh. Okay, so this song has so many disco elements. It has like the guitar like bending at really high frets, like 12 and up. That's usually what I think of. It has a lot of wah pedal, which is like kind of like, how to describe it? It's like a, for any non-guitarists out there.
Yeah, it's 80s cop music.
Yeah, when you think of like action cop, like that's
Exactly.
kind of. It has plucked. It's not plucked. Now I'm sounding like an idiot. Like really hard bass that's not played with fingers, played with a pick instead. Like that's especially. It's in the very first instrumental of the song. Like you start the song and then it's literally the first and only thing you hear. I like that a whole lot. What is the name of that? Oh my god, credibility lost. Go find someone else.
Yeah, credibility machine broke.
We'll edit that in post, no worries. It's all good.
Yeah.
And I know you guys brought me in as a ringer to talk about the percussion, so another
Here it is.
very disco-influenced part of the song is this beat. It's called 4 on the Floor, which is, it's just, kick on every quarter note, like that's the beat. And that kick is thumping like throughout this entire song. I'm sure like it's one of the first things you'll hear. It's very driving.
4 on the floor?
Yep, because it's just, kick on every quarter note. So every measure you got 4 times that you're just kicking the floor.
Oh,
like
okay,
that.
okay. I thought you meant every 4th note there was a kick.
No,
Not
no,
yet.
no.
There's
Every-
4 kicks
every
per
quarter.
measure.
He had to put that one together in his brain.
It took 4 seconds.
4?
No, that-
Coincidence? Think not.
No, this song is just the dance they do. Every time I think of this song, like I have an inability to focus on anything else. Like if I'm in like the most pressing matter of my life, like someone's like holding a gun to my head and I'm thinking to myself like, what do I do? If I hear the first notes of the song, like my mind will drift and I will think of Soromaru on the stairs. Like nothing can stop me from thinking about that when I hear the first few notes of this song.
I do the butt shake at work pretty often. If I'm
Do
standing
ya?
somewhere where nobody can see me, yeah, dude, I'll do the butt shake while I'm working. Hell yeah.
I do it
dude.
where everyone can see me.
Yes.
That's a little bit more noticeable than screaming when there's like construction noise going on in the background, so no one can hear you.
What if
Like I'm pretty
EJ's
sure
just
everyone.
Soromaru?
Oh, Ichi, are you afraid of stairs?
He does it all. He says he does it all the time. What if he's just Soromaru?
I didn't want to admit it on the podcast.
I am Soromaru.
Oh, hello, foreign friends. I think the vocals are something that you can look at in the song that are really strong. Also, Umi and Ellie specifically, as always, have really strong vocal parts in this song. Umi has a couple where even in the live show, like she just nails it, and it sounds great in the full version of the song as well. It's very kind of like sensual song almost. Like some of the things when those altos reach kind of low down, it gets pretty sensual at times.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like this interesting mix of like silly at times, but also very sexy at times. And I mean, the silliness is also, it's shown in the vocals. Like if you listen to the solo mixes, I think you guys mentioned it on your stream. Like there's some like fan service-y lyrics in the sense that like they're doing like their character like phrases or whatever in each of the solo mixes. Yeah.
Yeah, and you get the biggest character moment of all. Or you can even call it the sexiest moment of all when Nozomi yells "Pusheen" really loud.
So, correct us if we're wrong, but did this song christen big like in every single chorus of every song? Because when I went to the live viewing, it wasn't live. When I went to the recorded viewing for Aqua's first live, literally in every song that people could fit, in, it was there. Every single one. Like the only one it wasn't, or the only ones were like slow songs, like Tokimeki for Azalea. Like they weren't just gonna scream in the middle of it, but like
They're babies.
almost every song had that thing from this song, and I think that's pretty neat. I guess
know-
that's more of a fan thing though, and not really like
Whenever
Still
they performed
interesting.
the song live, like they would introduce it as the song that gets everybody hyped. You know, they had an intro for every song that they'd say, and this is the one where they'd be like, yeah, let's play the song that gets everybody hyped. So I think this is a fan favorite among a lot of people.
Except for Soromaru doesn't get her hype. That's where the song that fills Soromaru with dread keeps her up at night.
Poor girl.
Yeah, whenever she performs,
Have we
she just thinks
explained that
about the one
Soromaru
time.
has a fear of going downstairs? If you're in
Yeah.
the dark, well there you go.
She's
Apparently
terrified of going
Soromaru.
downstairs, apparently.
That is the cruelest joke. Soromaru was terrified of going downstairs, and they put her on the highest step. Like, I get that she's the center of the song, and it'd be weird if she was on the lowest step off to the very side, because it's like a triangle that goes up, and she's the tip of the triangle. But like,
But what if they did it backwards? Like everyone else like was higher up, and then it like went down to a point.
that would have been cool. It would have been like the same thing. So everyone walks down fine, and Soromaru is just super careful going down. And then the very next thing after they step down from the stairs, they all do like 9 little like points, right? And Soromaru gets there just in time for her point, and
Yeah,
everyone's
she's, like,
like been there
dashing
chilling
over
for
there.
like, yeah, everyone's been there for like the past 5 seconds, just like hanging out, waiting for her chance to point. And Soromaru's like, I'm coming, guys. So every single song has like a little bit of like flavor text on the wiki about the song, and this one is specifically the one that Soromaru says live. She says, "Japanese style muse. The dance with fans is alluring. It's a disco number that gets you hyped." And you were gonna mention how this has like weird Japanese influences despite it being a disco song, right?
Yeah, I mean, so I didn't know before these guys told me like what the whole story behind Kaguya's castle is, but apparently it's like a Japanese like folktale. So lyrically, there's a lot of relation to sort of like Japanese tradition, but still, it wasn't something that I heard all that much in the song. But there actually is like a few things here and there. Like in that intro, you hear like that gong going off during like some of the measures. Like that's definitely very Japanese tradition, and so. They mixed a lot of influences into this one, a lot of weird influences that you wouldn't expect to go together.
I think the biggest sign of Japanese influence stuff in this entire song is when they shout fever really loud at the beginning. That's my favorite Japanese influence part.
Some random English word. Can you scream any like English
Yes.
word just in the right before like a really Japanese guitar riff and have it be great? Like in the beginning of the song, they just scream like,
Oh, pancakes,
yeah, just pancakes, and then all of a sudden it's just like a Japanese song. You feel?
Yeah, I feel that.
So the question we have for you guys this week ties into today's theme. Like I was saying earlier, how the S1OP is the song that really got me into this franchise. We want to know what song brought you guys into this franchise, whether or not it was the first season opening or if it was something else that brought you into here. What are you guys' thoughts?
You want to go first, Luke?
Sure. This is a pretty strong contender because this is the first thing I was shown when I started watching the show, and then like Snow Halation was the first song that I probably downloaded. But man, the one that really like tugged me into Idol Hell was probably None Gabare in the in SIF.
Even though this was the sone that like made me sort of like stick with the franchise, that's actually the first song that I heard, so we got that in common.
Yeah. None Gabare and the one Shinrai Love, Oshiete Love really like made me think, well, why is there like only 3 of them singing? I thought there was 9 of them. And that's like what made
weird.
me Google what was going on,
That
and I was
confused
like,
the
oh wait.
hell out of me at first.
And then I saw the whole discography. I was like, wait a second. And that's when I like kind of put it together in my head.
I was also really confused like why there weren't solo mixes for every song. I was like, this first one that I heard had solo mixes. Where is it for everything else?
Did you guys forget? For me, I've talked about this a lot before. My first was Mijuku Dreamer. For those who don't know, I'll tell the story. The quick story again. Luke tried everything to get me to watch Love Live. And I was like, nah, not feeling it. And then like through osmosis, we were just kind of like listening to songs together one day, and Mijuku Dreamer came on. He's like, yeah, that's a good song. I was like, huh, okay. And like I started listening to it. I was like, wow, this is really good. And then like from that, it became Strawberry Trapper, and like I had heard Snow Halation before, but like so has everybody, like somehow. So like I don't really count Snow Halation, but then like it was really just Mijuku Dreamer, and like one of the first ones in the anime, because I did watch Sunshine first, as some of you know. I just thought it was a lot easier to get into. I still do. Like, people always talk about like, can I watch Sunshine first? I'm like, I don't think it's the biggest crime to watch Sunshine first. It's what got me into the whole franchise. Hand in Hand, real good song. That was like one of the first like Love Live songs like I'd listened to on my own accord that I had like that Love Live introduced me to, and not Luke. And I remember like listening to it that day because it's the very last song that plays in the first episode, maybe the second episode, first episode. Yeah, and I messaged Luke. I was like, "Wow, the ED for this anime is really good." He's like, "Yeah, dude, it's pretty okay." And like thinking I was talking about Yume Okotaro and not Hand in Hand, I was like, "Yeah, Hand in Hand's a great song." He's like, "Wait, hold on,
Hold on, hold the phone."
So that was a long answer, but Mijuku Dream was the first song for me. What about you, EJ?
What?
Oh, I know you already said it, but did you want to give a few extra words on why Bokura wa Ima no Nakade was your first song?
Yeah, so when I started watching this series, when I started watching the series at first, I mean, I wasn't really expecting a whole lot. Like I said before, I don't really watch all that much anime, and I kind of saw it as something that was going to be something that I had seen before, same kind of deal. And I definitely wasn't like into music anime of the sort, so I wasn't going in with super high expectations specifically for the OP. But the more I listened to it, the more I was like, this dance looks pretty interesting, the outfits, I like them. And then the song started to grow on me too, and by like midway through the season, I was just like, I was all in. I was like, this song is great, I love it. And then when they brought it in for the end of the second season, it was just like my favorite moment. It was so cool.
It's a good one. It's a goodie. I'd always like thought about what people's first songs would be, and like the obvious one is Snow Halation, but like I never really considered like literally they're like, hello, Love Live, what is this anime? I'm into anime, and then they click on Love Live, and this is like the first one they see. Like I'd never really put those two puzzle pieces together in my head, but hey.
Yeah, it's weird. You don't really think of it as being like one of those songs like in the Snow Halation tier, but it's so strongly tied to the franchise in general that I think it needs to get some more love.
Yeah, it gets played first, or got played, rest in peace. It got played first at, so many concerts and everything, And I think that's the exact reason why it's so iconic.
So as is tradition, the plane flying over my head, always in the last recording, I think it's about time to end this. EJ, as always, thank you so much for coming on, and we really hope you come on again.
Absolutely. Whenever you guys need me, whenever the viewers want me back, I'm good to go.
Clap for EJ.
Oh boy.
That's too much. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, EJ.
So yeah, link to EJ stuff down below. Definitely go read up on his primers. They're so worth the read. And like he said with us, if you're into guys speaking instead of writing, if your thing is looking at guys writing instead of guys speaking, EJ's your guy. He's got a whole big thing written up. He's a smart guy.
If you want to actually understand all these points that I've been making about specific parts of the song that like make no sense, like I have links to them in the post, so it'll make a lot more sense if you read them. I promise.
Mm-hmm. So we did want to say though, if you guys didn't see our Twitter and our Facebook announcements, we have a lot of stuff coming up. So first one was EJ. EJ was like the first strike out of 3. That was pretty great. We have a lot of guests coming up. In a few episodes, we have Jonah from another Love Live page that ironically insults Love Live. That's a big one.
The best meme page on Facebook.
He's a really cool guy. We're really excited to have him. And on a different kind of note, a few episodes from that, we have Aaron Cerise. I hope I said that right. Aaron Cerise, yes, the Aaron Cerise, the big Love Live YouTuber, probably one of the biggest Love Live YouTubers on the platform, right? Yeah, the celebrity who for some reason agreed to be on our show. And Luke and I together were like, yeah, what if? Ha ha ha, as we like sent the message, this is funny. And then I got a message from her on Reddit like, hello, I'm trying to be on your show. Like, are you okay? Do you still want me? I'm like, well, what?
I'm pretty excited to fangirl in a month or so. So
we're pretty excited. So stick around for that in the coming weeks. But anyway, thank you so much, guys. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Luke. I'm sick Luke.
And I'm healthy EJ.
Have a good one, guys. Thank you so much.
Wish me luck.